Are we going to make this through? I certainly plan to. But what makes the difference? Who are the companies and leaders that will not only overcome this crisis, but also be able to seize the opportunities? Okay, so I got this from one of my WhatsApp groups, but it got me thinking and made me dig a little bit into this. The piece was about this great leadership book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. The book examined what makes a successful organization. What makes these organizations survive big crises and win their market? Collins and his team analyzed over 1,400 businesses and chose 11 exceptional companies to find out what they had in common. Some of the results were quite surprising. One of the key findings was a phenomenon Collins named after a famous military leader, James Stockdale. Stockdale was a naval officer and a vice presidential candidate. He served as an officer during the Vietnam War and was held a prisoner of war for over 7 years. While in captivity, Stockdale was repeatedly tortured, suffered constantly, and had really little reason to believe he was going to make it out alive. Ultimately, what saved him was his ability to process the reality of his situation, balancing realism with an optimistic belief that he would survive and return home. Years later, when Collins interviewed Stockdale for Good to Great, Stockdale shared that while he was in the captivity, he decided that he would turn this experience into the defining event of his life, that in retrospect, he would not trade. Collins asked him who struggled the most when being captive. Stockdale replied, "Oh, that's easy. I can tell you who didn't make it out. It was the optimists." He further explained, "They were the ones who always said, 'We're going to be out by Christmas.' Christmas would come and it would go, and there would be another Christmas, and they died of a broken heart." Collins and his research team discovered that each of the 11 companies they studied had survived an existential crisis. Collins found the leadership team in each case responded with two contradicting approaches. On one hand, they accepted the brutal facts of reality. On the other hand, they maintained a strong faith in the endgame and a commitment to survive the great company, despite the enormous challenge. Collins labeled this the Stockdale paradox. I believe this is more relevant than ever. Many organizations will not survive COVID 19, in many cases for reasons that are beyond their leaders. However, I believe that when we will look back on many businesses' failures and missteps, we will see failures relating to Stockdale paradox. These are scary times, with an overwhelming amount of brutal facts, including the fastest economical decline since the Great Depression. Trying to hide this reality from your team will only lead them to have false expectation and be blindsided later. These will be the teams with the broken hearts, who will not survive to make it through. Instead, leaders like you should calmly tell their team what they need to know and help them understand their role in being part of the solution. Taking these insights into the product world, I believe that this should be served as a core spine to your product decisions. What I'm going to do, and I would really like to hear what your opinion about it, is one, I'm going to brutally cut down and renegotiate any expenses we have. Anything can be renegotiated, starting from hosting, bank services, rent, whatever. Everybody wants to close a deal. I'm going to use it. And you should too. Two, I'm going to try and get as much data about my market as possible. I'm not going to stick to daily data. I'm going to look for trends. Things are really, really dynamic. So I'm going to carefully examine where the market is going. Three, I'm going to act fast and be light about it. You need to be in a constant experimental mood, trying out different angles of the product approaches to better understand the opportunities in the market. I'm going to prefer fast over quality whenever this is possible. Four, I'm going to double down on marketing. Sounds crazy, but this is what I think. Marketing will get me two really important things. First, a better understanding of my market. If I run each campaign as an experiment, I can quickly understand my opportunities and trends. Second, when all of this is over, and it will be, people will remember me. I'm counting on many to give up and fail. Believe that there is an end game because it will come. I'm not going to try and estimate when. Just have a strong inner conviction it will come. And I'm going to commit myself and stay in front of my audience until it will. Five, I'm going to close any deal I can. I suggest you forget about profitability these times. Deals are like marketing. They will keep your team busy and will make you better understand your clients by working with them and talking to them. Bottom line, believe you will prevail over this crisis without letting optimism and long term vision hide the brutal facts. Accept this reality. Commit to being resilient and develop a plan for you, your family, and your organization to live to fight another day. My quote of the week from James Stockdale: you must never confuse the faith that you will prevail in the end, which you can never afford to lose, with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever they might be. I would really love to hear your advices and your plans of how to deal with this crisis. I'll be here next week with more product UX UI innovation updates, so please subscribe to our channel and take care. Bye.